There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of WoW YouTubers making videos about all of the data mine information for Phase 2 of Season of Discovery, and you don't have to watch any of them. You can just go to wowhead.com/classic and check out the recent news and read it all for yourself. And you might think, why are you making a video? Well, there's one thing that jumped out at me that I want to share with you that you can get started on now. It's going to be a short video, so bear with me. What is up, druids and other classes of Azeroth? My name is Rumi the Doggo Druid. In today's video, I want to talk about the #1 profession that you're going to need in Phase 2 of World of Warcraft Classic Season of Discovery. And before we get into it too deep, just know that I'm going to be talking about PTR data mined stuff. And Blue Names have come out and said that some of it might be for later, and all of it is subject to change. And sure, they might add some new stuff between now and when it launches on whatever date it's going to launch. And they may, subtract some stuff, and they may definitely, sneak some stuff in after the season has begun. But one of the things that has been discussed in depth that I've been curious about is professions and their heightened role in Season of Discovery. So everyone's going to be curious about the #1 profession. We have all of these rewards in here, and the thought is that the epic craftable item, just like the void touched armaments in Phase 1, the extra planar spider silk boots, the void touch gauntlets, etc., that craftable item is the new helmets that were discussed yesterday and then data mined today. There is the glowing neuro-linked cowl, the glowing hyperconductive scale coif, the it's craftable items for your helmet, right? Everything, like there's plate, the blacksmithing is the tempered interference negating helmet, the reflective true silver brain cage, like they're helmets, right? The new epic craftable items are helmets. And while what we know from Phase 1 is that the gloves and the chest piece and all that were generally best in slot, I would imagine that these are probably going to be highly sought after items. And if there's nothing to go in their place instead, like for example, there were array drops in Black Fathom Depths that would replace the gloves and the chest piece and the boots, but they were still, slightly better. Looking at the PvP loots for each class, there are 3 to 4 items, I should say, for each class. None of them are helmets. None of them. The item sets coming in Nomergon, the raid, not helmets. The raid loot in Nomergon, so far, looking at this, helm, none from raid. You see that? Clicking on leather armor, no helmet from raid, none. What about the mail and the plate? I don't need to click on them. You guys know what I'm about to say. There are no items in the raid as far as helmets for any class. See, plate, none from raid. Now, they may add some new helmets to dungeons, and we know that there are some existing dungeons that have some pretty strong helmets. We also know that there's some existing craftable items that are pretty strong, but none of them are going to be as strong as these new craftable sets, whatever set that you're going to have for tailoring, leatherworking, or blacksmithing. There's the new enchantment invoker thing. There's the new alchemy potion thing that you can get. But if you are a best in slot chasing character, raid, top DPS parses, whatever, top healing, top tanking parses, whatever, you are going to have the profession that creates the gear for you. And unfortunately, if you are a multi-role class like Druid, Shaman specifically, you're going to struggle a little bit, because not only are you going to want the leather version, but you're also potentially going to want the cloth version. You can see the cloth helmet here is damage and healing 22, 4 mana per 5, plus a cool ability, reducing mana cost of all spells by 50% for 12 seconds. Contrast that with the Boomkin leather helmet. It's 21 damage and healing, 100% mana regeneration to continue while casting for 20 seconds, which is similar to the MP5, but it doesn't really replace that 50% mana. I mean, it kind of does. And the mail piece is basically the same, slightly statted a little differently. So if you're going to be a druid and you're going to be feral and also some boomkin and some resto on occasion, you're probably going to need tailoring and leatherworking. And the same thing can be said for, paladins and et cetera. So you can get started on this now, right? Obviously, if you've had the profession to level up to get the void touched armaments, then you're ready to go. You just need to, finish getting to 225, do the raid, do the quest line, whatever it ends up being, and then craft these items, and boom, you have your best in slot helmet. And the good news is none of the new runes require helmets, but we're not going to talk about all this. Again, guys, go to wowhead.com/classic and get all of this recent news right here. You don't need to watch a 10-minute video. This video honestly has been too long. Be good or be good at it. I'll see you in the next one.